everyone, and welcome back to Bringing the Heat. It's 2023, which means opening day is right around the corner. And once again, I'm your host, John Sakaguchi. Joined with me, as always, is my good friend, Doug Glackey. Dougie, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I'm doing good. Testing out the office space ever since I redid everything. There's going to be no longer a giant, colossal avalanche of Nike shoe boxes. Um, if I move my chair the wrong way, so that's a positive start to the 2023 season.
Yeah, well, so it gets started just like the Pirates winning opening day against the Cincinnati Reds last week. Uh, so let's jump right into it, Dougie. A lot to talk about. So let's take a look here. The Pirates' top prospects ended up with, I believe, I saw 4 in the top 100 this year.
Yeah, they have quite a few top 100 prospects. I'm pulling the list up right now just to see what we got going on here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the top 100s right now. Henry Davis is at number 57. Endy Rodriguez at 55. Tamar Johnson, who's the highest rated prospect out of the whole bunch, at 26. And I believe I'm forgetting one pitcher off of this list. Yep.
Quinn Priester's 60 right now.
Yep. And that's just the top 4 or prospects of the Pirates. And speaking of which, taking a look at that top 25 list to round out the top 5, Nick Gonzalez, who's in AAA, and I'm expecting the Pirates to have up at some point in time later this season.
Yeah. Um, I think out of all of the prospects they have, the one that may come up the fastest, if he's able to hit the ball, might be Nick Gonzalez, just due to the fact of even though Castro's serviceable, that second base position for them, in my opinion, seems very, very bleak right now. Rodolfo Castro is not a bad player, but I feel like he's one of those players that's like not a build around player. It's like okay, we discovered this guy in a rebuild. He has talent, and we're going to use him until, you know, we have somebody to, you know, jump over him. Because I mean, let's be honest, like, if and when this team is contending, do you see Rodolfo Castro at second base or on this roster at all? Because I don't.
I don't. I think I think he's going to end up being trade bait for or DFA'd at some point in time.
Yeah, I think he's somebody that you can use in a trade to try and get better, try and get maybe a bullpen piece or something. Because, like, in my opinion, if there was anybody on this roster that they could turn into like a super utility player, it's probably going to be G1 Bay because he already has the positional flexibility to begin with, and he has really, really good speed and has decent defensive tools everywhere you put him.
Yeah. And Bay, I think, has probably been in one of the biggest surprises to this roster thus far. I know we're only 5 games into the season, but still, well, the fact of the matter is that he has come up and been a big help defensively. I watched him make one of the best catches of the season so far,
Hmm.
along with uh, Smith and Jigba, who's been almost put it over the Green Monster last night at Fenway Park. So a couple of guys coming up from AAA Indianapolis and already making a big name for themselves in this young season. So I'm happy to see the young Bucks are coming up to do something in big so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge CSN guy. I thought it was awesome that his brother Jackson was there to watch him play last night. Obviously, the Ohio State wide receiver, who's one of the top prospects in the draft, and Omar Khan, Andy Weidel, if you're watching this, draft Jackson. Get Kenny all the help he can. Back to baseball, though.
Yeah,
Um, Another big surprise, dude, honestly, Dari Moreta.
yeah,
Like
he's been a
he's
dark
looked
horse.
good out of the bullpen. And I mean, I love the guy already because he got out of that jam on opening day. Shelty went and took the ball from him and he just threw up the money Manziel. So like I'm like, okay, this guy has the juice. He has the juice to be a very effective seventh or eighth inning reliever. And you can already tell that um for lack of a better term, he got that dog in him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He wants to be here, or he is. He's hungry. He wants it. And that he showed it. Why he's here. Uh, Now the only real hole on the team right now that still has me questioning every time that they go out there is that catcher spot, and we just saw that one of the catchers go on as Hedges just got put on the 15-day DL list. Tyler Heineman getting called up from AAA Indianapolis. Uh, that was just this morning. So 4 games into the season already, and we're already talking about an injury at the catcher's position.
I mean, I I'm not gonna sit here and yell and scream for Endy to come up. Like we all know why Endy's down there. Endy needs to catch every day. Not only is it service time manipulation, obviously, but he needs to catch every day. He didn't really catch a lot last year. Whenever he was shooting up through the system, he was playing a lot of outfield, a lot of other positions, a lot of DH, just to keep the bat tool in the lineup. So we're at the point now where Endy has to catch and keep him down in Indianapolis for as long as you deem necessary because he's going to be catching guys down there that he's going to be working with for the early part of his career. He's going to catch Burrows. He's catching Quinn Priester this evening. He's catching Ortiz. He's working with Colin Selby, Cody Bolton, guys of that nature. You know, and honestly, like I'm not as mad about the catcher spot, dude. Like Heineman and Delay both know the catchers, and on top of that, when Hedges is healthy, I don't even care if Austin Hedges hits like 086 in his time in Pittsburgh. He's here to work with the young pitchers and then work with Endy and work with Henry Davis. Um, if they do get up here this year and help them develop their skills defensively to actually put together the full picture of being a catcher, because right now you and I both know they are great offensive talents, but they need to hone in the defense and hone in the pitch calling and blocking and things of that nature if they're actually going to come up here and the Pirates are actually going to start winning.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the biggest thing. And we talk about those prospects. Looking out at the rest of this top 10 list, I mean, it is solid all the way down from AAA to single A to short season single A. We're looking at number 6, Leover Peguero, Bubba Chandler's at 7, Luis Ortiz, who you've talked about earlier on the show, Mike Burrows is another guy, and then a guy that they got in the international draft, Anthony Olmedo from trying to see here because I just heard where he was from earlier today,
They
and
drafted Solometo out of high school. He
yeah,
was the second round pick in the what was that, the 2021 draft, whichever one they drafted Henry Davis in. I think it was 2021. Yeah.
yeah, it was 2021.
Um, and now you segued me perfectly. This is my hot take for the year. Bubba Chandler and Anthony Solometo end up being top 100 prospects by the end of the year, and they both finish the year in Double A Altoona.
I'll take that bet.
Yeah,
I would love to see both of those guys
yeah.
wearing the Altoona Curve jersey by the end of the year. Uh, Looking at some other guys on here, uh, some guys I'm not really familiar with on this list this time around. Uh, we're looking at number 11, and we have Jared Jones, a right-handed pitcher that's already at Altoona, projected to
Hmm.
make the main roster by next season. But we all know how that goes. Projections are projections. What
I
happens on the field
think
is the other thing.
I think he's like one of my sleeper guys. Like I think that he's going to be really really good this year and put a good step forward. Um, Obviously it's going to be good experience for him in Altoona because they have the position players. They don't really have a ton of pitchers or notable name pitchers, at least. It's going to be basically him and Kyle Nicholas running that rotation down in Altoona.
Yeah. It's going to be great to see how that works out down there. Moving on down the list at short A, at low A baseball, Thomas Harrington and another right-handed pitcher. 13, we see Jin A1 Bay, who we've already talked about out on the main ball club. Another guy that we've talked about in the last couple of shows, Lonnie White Jr., or the outfielder, who's in AAA Indianapolis right now. And then Somebody we've not talked about yet, making his first appearance on this list for the Pirates, Hunter Barco.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big year for them to try and get Hunter Barco going. Obviously, they drafted him coming off of Tommy John surgery last year, in the draft. So, it's going to be important to get him working and get him in an actual in one of the promotions where they actually play organized baseball and it's not all scrimmages. Get him out of rookie ball, try and put him in Bradenton or Greensboro, hopefully whenever his arm does start to heal up. Because you notice this, Johnny, they don't really have a lot of left-handed pitching within the organization. It's
Yeah.
very righty heavy. Um, and another one that they have is the 21st ranked prospect, Michael Kennedy. Same deal with him, just getting him healthy and getting him acclimated to pro ball, you know. Um, Moving on though, very interesting one at 16 is Malcolm Nunez. Um, they got him in the Jose Quintana trade last summer from the Cardinals, and he is currently the starting first baseman at AAA Indianapolis. And they're going to play him in the field as much as they can because everybody keeps saying, "Oh, his defense is bad." Like his defense is fine. It's just continuing to get reps. There needs to be repetition and there needs to be continuity in him playing first base every day and continuing to develop the defensive side of the game because he's one that he might end up in Pittsburgh by the end of the year. You don't know.
Mhm.
But he might but my prediction is he probably spends the entire year down in Indianapolis because of the fact that the Pirates have Choi and Santana and
Yeah.
Connor Joe as well. They have three, this is insane to say, but Johnny, they have three major league capable first basemen. The days of Josh Van Meter and Diego Castillo playing first base are dead.
Let's not forget about out Big Sexy and having and Vogelbach there too.
It was hilarious that they brought him in, and I feel like he only played first base like probably 5 games.
Yeah, he was more the designated hitter, but it was enough for a meme. But
For real though, shout out to him and shout out to the Mets for getting us Colin Holderman because Holderman's a beast.
yep, I'll
Yeah,
take that deal any day of the week.
yeah,
Moving on down the list, look at some other guys. 17, Matt Gorski. 18, Jared Trelito, another third base prospect for the Pirates. 19, a left-sided infielder, and Lopez. Number 20, another pitcher or prospect, Kyle Old Nicholas. And number 21, and we've talked about him before, in Michael Kennedy. Another left-handed pitcher down in rookie ball. Probably going to see him in Bradenton at some point in time this year. Number 22, and a guy I think we're going to see bounce up and down between in AAA and main roster, and that's Travis Swaggerty.
yeah. I agree. It's a difficult situation for him and Cal Mitchell and even Kanan Smith and Jigba as well. They have so many outfielders that are major league ready, and they don't have enough spaces for them. You know, and the what makes it even more difficult for them is these players are all not good enough for us to say, oh, we're comfortable with trading Brian Reynolds. Realistically, you need to extend Brian Reynolds because you have no idea what the hell your outfield depth is outside of him and Jack. And I mean, this. It's so much to the point that I've told you before that I want to move one of the middle infielders to the outfield full time before they start contending because they don't have, in my opinion, they don't have a true center fielder. They have a lot of great corner outfielders, but they don't have a true center fielder, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one thing that's got me concerned with that. In the outfield. Moving down on the list here, so we can get through some more of these prospects. Matt Frazier at 23. We've talked about him on numerous occasions. Number 24 outfielder Hudson Head. Number 25 Cameron. And I know I'm going to botch his name.
Just let me take it because I want to talk about it.
All right, I'll let you take that.
20, 25, Carmen Mlodzinski. pitched great out of the bullpen in spring training. So much to the point that in Indianapolis, they are going to have Carmen and Cody Bolton both start pitching strictly out of the bullpen. Now this is something that might remind you of something that happened 12, 13 years ago when the Pirates decided to make the decision to start pitching Justin Wilson, Tony Watson, Brian Morris, guys of that nature out of the bullpen and taking them out of starting pitching roles. This is how you build a bullpen, Johnny. You need to find those guys that, whether it be pitch mix or just ability to go deep in games or whatever it may be, if they're unable to do either or one of them, you turn them into relievers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'd go as far as this. I would rather have Carmen Bladzinski on the MLB roster right now over Chase DeYoung.
You're not going to hear me argue that one. I'm not. You already know I am
Because
not the biggest fan of Chase DeYoung.
they need a 2 to 3 inning swing guy that can pitch effectively for multiple innings and help set themselves up for success if one of their starters fail to go 3 or 4 innings or 5 innings.
Yeah, and then we're also going to bring up this one, and I want to talk about this kid because I actually know a little bit about him. Um, that's number 26 prospect. Juan, I forget how you pronounce his name.
Yun Suk Shim.
Thank you.
You're
I was
welcome.
going to butcher it, but I didn't want to. Oh, but this kid for or decided to forego the draft of the KBO draft, was a top 10 prospect for him over there to sign here in the major leagues. Signed shortly after the international free agent pool opened up for Major League Baseball. Uh, there's been so many different comparisons to different pitchers. One of them that was even noted was Roy Halladay, which I think is a little bit of a stretch at the moment. But at 4 pitches that he can throw, he's got a fastball all that goes anywhere from on average 94 to 96, and he can touch 100 when he needs to. 101 was, what was it? 101.2 was the highest they rated his fastball. So he can bring the heat when he needs to. Shameless plug on the name. But he also can complement it with a curveball. He's got a circle change, and he's got a slider. Or that when I was looking at the video today, when I was talking about prospects, it was nasty. I mean, this thing literally started on one side of the strike zone and ended in the left-handed batter's box by the time it was done. So, or excuse me, the right-handed batter's box, and it was just one of the nastiest ones. He was rated number 10 in the MLB's top 50 prospects of the international pool. So that gives you a clue. This kid's got some heat that he can bring and has the nasty stuff to complement it. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. We'll see him debut this year in rookie ball. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, he's somebody I'm excited about. I feel like you saw Pirates Twitter blow up a little bit whenever they signed him. I thought it was a good step in the right direction. Moving on to 27, Shalen Polanco. Decent contact hitting outfield prospect, going to start the year in Bradenton and probably be one of the more intriguing position player options to watch alongside Tamar Johnson and Bubba Chandler on the mound. So there's that.
28, we already talked about Cannon Smith and Jigba. Probably one of the best opposite field hitters in the lineup for the Pirates right now. 29, and De Los Santos, a shortstop. I'm pretty sure we've talked about this kid before or on previous shows. And then a guy our first chance to see him was in the WBC. He Taisung Che Chang.
Yeah, Chang played well for Chinese Taipei. He was good on the base paths. He played good defense. Also looking forward to seeing what he can do this year in Bradenton. Um, but one of the most underrated storylines you have is even after they kind of purged their minor league roster in the minor league phase of Rule 5.
Yeah.
Um, they still have a lot of guys playing random places.
And that was
Look,
something
for
you and I talked
instance,
about earlier, or is just
yeah,
is the Pirates. It's as you said, purge the roster because of the Rule 5 draft. By the way, the
yeah,
Pirates were the team that lost the most prospects out of that at 11.
hmm yeah,
Uh, they have so many prospects. There's guys that you and I were looking at the opening day minor league rosters, and we're like, why are these guys here? Or they should be here or in here. But we both know it's because they just have so many guys. It's only to get them reps.
yeah. And basically, the reason I even brought this up is if you're a casual baseball fan and you're looking at minor league opening day rosters and you see Henry Davis and Liover Peguero repeating Double A again, it is not an indictment on them. It is strictly to get them at bats, and there is no need for you to be screaming bust from your rooftop, um, pretending that you actually know about baseball, because odds are you don't. Um, moving forward, speaking of not knowing about baseball, um, noted alleged prospect better than O'Neill Cruz, Mason Martin, is once again the opening day first baseman for the Altoona Curve.
Yep.
And he's been leapfrogged by not only Malcolm Nunez at first, but he's also been leapfrogged by the potential of working Jared Triolo at first base
Yep.
and working Endy Rodriguez at first a little bit, things of that nature. And yeah, the only reason I really brought that up is because I was in the midst of a major Twitter argument last year, probably around June,
I
of somebody
remember this.
saying that Mason Martin had better work ethic than O'Neill Cruz, and therefore that he was a better prospect.
And we both
Jokes
look,
on you, pal.
and you and I both looked at that tweet because you sent it to me, and I said, "What is this guy smoking? And is he sharing? Because
Ah, man.
what
No, but
universe
like
did that seem right?"
no, but like really, like they have a lot of good prospects, and like I said about the minor league portion of the Rule 5, they also like lost probably like I mean, they lost probably my favorite prospect in the major league phase, Blake Sable.
Yeah, that was
And
probably
he
the
made
biggest loss of the Pirates. There, or I know we can't keep them all, but that is one guy I wish they could have saved.
it bugs me because he could have been your backup catcher and also basically played the same exact role that Connor Joe's playing right now because he can play the outfield and he can play first base.
Yeah,
It would have been better than like I hate to say it, like I would have taken him over Delay. I would have taken him over Tyler Heineman. You know, it's kind of brutal, man.
yeah, that was probably one of the roughest things I had to see was seeing him leave. But at the same time, we got a couple of good pitchers out of that, and one of the guys I think it was from
They got Jose Hernandez
yeah,
from the
from the
Dodgers,
Dodgers.
who, um, along with Moretta, has been very, very. It's been a very good welcome sight in the Pirates bullpen. You know, made his major league debut on Sunday, pitched very well, had a scoreless inning, and I'm looking forward to seeing them build off that. You know, I think that you approach it with him the same way you approached it last year with Yeri De Los Santos, where you keep pitching him in like random, like oddball situations, and then like as he continues to prove himself, you up the intensity a little bit and try and put him in a higher leverage situation, like maybe have him pitch the sixth inning when they're in a jam and they need out of one, or pitch in the seventh, pitch in the eighth potentially, because in terms of bullpen position, the only two spots or the only spot that's locked down is probably David Bednar. And you could make an argument for Colin Holderman being one of the setup guys. But other than that, like everything is wide open for business in terms of figuring out who goes where in that bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at the current roster right now, all the active roster for the Pirates. A lot of these guys that are down at AAA, and I would even make the case towards AA because I feel like some of these guys are going to start there, going to probably bounce up to AAA by May or June, and
Yeah,
and something's going to happen on the main roster where we're going to have to make a
right.
call. And we've seen this happen every year. It happens all the time. And I honestly believe they're going to be guys that I believe can help the Pirates in the long run.
Yeah. I mean, we're to the point now, Johnny, where, you know, this season, in my opinion, is going to remind me a lot of like 2011, 2012, where you start to see that they can have runs at playoff contention or just flat out be in playoff contention. You know, I, especially after last night, after Oviedo crapped the bed a little bit in the first inning, gave up those 5 runs. They didn't roll over, dude. Like right away, whenever that game went on and Oviedo gave up all those runs and Jack and Brian Reynolds had that miscommunication in the outfield, I thought for sure we were going to see one of those like 18-3 crappers that ends with G-Man Choi on the mound.
Yep.
Um, but they came back and they grinded it out and they got the win, man. Like,
Yeah. It wasn't pretty, but we'll take it.
yeah, but like that, I feel like that's basically proof to you that this is going to be a different type of year. They're not going to make the playoffs, but at the same time, they're not going to lose 90 to 100 games either.
Yeah. Which leads us now into the Pirates' predictions of the season. You and I both have gone back and forth on how this is going to go. We've had our takes on what we think the Pirates are going to do. Uh, I predicted, and I'm still going to stick to my guns on this one until they prove me wrong. I have the Pirates at 77 wins on the season, which is a lot higher than what they had last year, but it's not going to be not like you said, a 90 to 100 loss team this year.
You want my prediction?
What you got?
83 and 79.
Interesting. And you got the bucket O's over 500. It,
I,
for
dude,
the
I'm
first
telling
time
you,
in
man,
a few years.
the Orioles type of run is coming. We just need our great value version of Adley Rutschman to get up here.
Yeah, it's coming eventually. But now we got to move on to this next segment, Doug, because I know we're limited on time today. Uh, the one segment you and I look forward to talking about every year at the start of the year. Once again, MLB The Show has come out, and man, did they do a good job with this one. Changed things up a little bit in Diamond Dynasty and added a new mode in storyline mode. Dealing with the Negro Leagues, Chapter 1. I've already halfway through that part, as well as completing the WBC challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dougie, I'll let you take it from here.
I did the I did the I mean, it's been a good game. I just did the Satchel Paige storyline today just to get him. That went very well. And you know, I'm taking a different approach this year. I put about $100 to $200 in the game earlier, like as the game was starting. But now I think I'm taking the no money spent approach. You can get a lot of packs from doing conquest maps and actually doing the programs, doing the parallel XP point missions and stuff. And you can still have yourself in that good of a position um, without blowing out your bank account.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, you see a lot of Twitch streamers do a no money spent thing and they do fantastic. Like, there's this one dude I follow on Twitter who completed the live series just by flipping cards, and he had it done before the game even went live for the non pre-order players.
yeah. It's probably the same guy I was following on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a couple different guys. They all did it. I'm already 3 teams deep into that, and it's been a way different experience than what it's been in years past. I do like how they did some of the control settings are a little bit different now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a little more accurate to the real thing of baseball. Uh, Diamond Dynasty as a whole, I will say this: I do like how when you finish the uh, mains XP thing.
Hmm.
You get every 25,000, you get a roulette wheel, and you can end up with anywhere from a bronze pack all the way up to a diamond pack. So it's a great way to keep people involved in Diamond Dynasty. I think I do like how they change things up with the players because right now everybody I see it's all WBC rosters. There's the Negro
Hmm.
League players and the
Hmm.
captain cards. Which the captain cards, great move there from PlayStation and San Diego Studios. That was awesome. So if you're building a whole roster or with nothing but in this case I'll say Pirates players, and you got the captain Andrew McCutcheon, that was a
Yeah.
great move there. Uh, but I do like how you're not going to have those players all year long. It's a set that's set one, and you can use
Hmm.
set two as well. Oh, but set three you can only use two, three, and core players.
Yeah. I like it too. It really kind of saturated the market a little bit. So like if you want somebody that's in the program and you don't have enough XP yet, you like for instance, like I want Murakami. I could just go buy Murakami for 55K right now in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like and the way the program works now is they have it set up where if you play somewhat frequently, you can get all the rewards packs in that program, no problem. You know, like for instance, dude, like the game hasn't even been out like 2 full weeks, like with the pre-order thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm almost to the point like where I can get like one of the boss packs. Like I'll have that entire program done and get the re-roll and stuff probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks if my work schedule cooperates with me.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it as well. Oh, probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks at max, I'm gonna have my roles coming up. Um, I do like how they did some of the conquest maps this year. I do like that they brought back Team Infinity. He as those are or were something big with me when I got back into playing MLB The Show, and then they took it away last year. And this year they did the right thing with it. I think they balanced it out because I think it was OP in the old game in 21,
Hmm.
but they definitely got it right this time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to keep playing and going from there. My favorite thing every year is the Future Stars program, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, and that's gonna be coming before we know it, and that's probably around what June that we'll see those.
Yeah, probably like that'll probably be what they do in June, and then they'll with the way they time up these sets. I imagine that the All Star thing will be its own program,
Yep, I honestly think that's gonna be.
and if
I
that's
wouldn't
the
be
case,
surprised.
sign me up.
I wouldn't be surprised since the Cubs and Cardinals are going to Saint out to play a series over in London. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a special set for that too.
Yeah, we'll do like a small program where they give you like a cracked out Tommy Edman. I'm
One
okay with it.
and one last thing that I'm going to bring up, and I almost forgot about it, is the City Connect programs. Uh, is I'm looking forward to getting the Pirates City Connect one this year.
Johnny, you already know there is going to be a small stash of money set aside for the day that occurs, and we're
I'm
gonna
waiting
go.
for
We're
them to
gonna
hit. I'm
we're gonna
waiting.
go on. We're gonna go on Fanatics as I am basically the most unofficial thing from being a Fanatics brand ambassador, and we're gonna rip off whatever money we need to get all the hoodies, the shirts, and stuff.
That or it's gonna be for me. It's gonna be the day they end up at the store in Robinson, and I decide to take a trip up 79 North, hop off of there and go. Oh, pay my friend Tyler a visit and go. AWOL and just grab whatever I can from that store.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. One thing the MLB has to abolish that stupid rule that limits how many jerseys they can have in a year.
Yep, let's get rid of that. I mean,
Because
it's
my
all
my whole thing's this is why are you putting a limit on it? More jerseys, more revenue, dude. Like
that's my thing.
you're gonna have those weird freak people like how I used to be, where every time a new jersey releases, I need it.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's I missed the Mother's Day, Father's Day, Fourth of July, Armed Forces Day.
Oh yeah, and then there's like special hats in it, and you know this as well as anybody. like people will come into lids like bamboozling everybody, saying like, "Hey, where the hell is my Father's Day hat?"
Yep. Now they still keep the hats the thing, but they don't do the jerseys. Now that's a whole other argument we'll save for another time, though.
Yeah, yeah. All right, real quick, I see the ticker going on my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Reynolds stuff. We got to hit it real quick. Okay.
All right.
Um,
All right.
let me
Speed
just
round.
let me just QB it here. Um, Brian Reynolds, Pirates contract negotiations are currently at a snag because the Pirates refuse to include an opt-out clause after the 2026 season. I do not blame them. Try to move it back to year 5 or 6 in the deal. Reynolds is willing to backload the deal, which would offer the Pirates precious financial flexibility, which basically guarantees that O'Neill Cruz is getting locked in the next year and a half or so. And it would be a 7 to 8 year deal with around a $14 million annual average value. You and I both know this. For Brian Reynolds, that is a bargain and a half. That's basically some Atlanta Braves Island type stuff, Johnny.
Yep.
They need to get this thing done. They need to work out the opt-out clause and sit him down, have the press conference before the home opener, let Greg Brown foam at the mouth a little bit during the player introductions, and let's get this thing rolling.
Yeah.
Because they cannot screw this up, man. They have this decade's equivalent of Bryce Harper coming out in the draft, and they have won the draft lottery and have the right to draft him. You can have your 2 corner outfield spots being occupied while you're contending by Brian Reynolds and Dylan Cruz, and you can figure out center field as you go. That this is the last piece they need to truly contend and for things to be better in this window than it was whenever we had Kutch in his prime, and they have to get it done and lock it down now.
I'm going to say this now. Oh, I actually think they do get the deal done. I think that we'll be finding out about it on opening day. Hey, but Dougie, once again, man, and I love doing these shows with you, and I hopefully we get to do 1 or 2 more before or the end of the year. But once again, and thanks for joining me, Doug. I greatly appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. So that's going to do it for us, guys. We'll be back here probably on the All-Star break, maybe around the draft for another edition of Bringing the Heat. Or Doug Glackey, I'm John Sakaguchi. We'll see you next time, guys.